Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Immersive Engineering. Today we're covering something a little less medieval, and something a little bit more dangerous, like a pistol. Or in this case, a revolver. This one here has actually been upgraded as well, so it's pretty darn effective. I have to say it's a very dangerous weapon, and you can find it in your engineer's manual. You just under like tools and simple machines, it's got the revolver and the cartridges in here. And I'm not going to tell you anything really out of the ordinary on this, but I am going to go over it and how it functions, as well as how you can use it to your best benefit as well. Now, with this in mind, you actually can use it with a shield. You can shoot and you can block immediately after just by holding the button down. So every time that you try to use your shield, it will do that. Now, of course, you can switch your weapon, your hands, but then you're only going to be using your shield as well. So, but there is also a user interface. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, it actually has 8 chambers that you can store bullets in. So first and foremost, let's show you how to make one of these. You're going to need an iron ingot, a couple of wooden grips, a revolver barrel, revolver drum, and a revolver hammer. Now each of these is made in their own special way. The wooden grip is made with treated sticks and a copper ingot. The revolver barrel is 3 steel ingots. Obviously this is going to be a steel item. The drum is going to be steel ingots around an iron mechanical component, which of course is iron and copper. And lastly, we've got the revolver hammer, which is a ton of steel ingots made into this itty bitty little revolver hammer. Then you need a crafting table, and you put it all together as such in your crafting grid, and you get a revolver like I have here on my little avatar. Now, right now, if I right click, you'll hear it makes a click noise. That's because there's no bullets or anything in there. And in order for you to make bullets, you first have to make a blueprint. So in here I have a engineer's blueprint already set up. Now this is made simply with some gunpowder, copper ingot, lapis lazuli, and some paper. It'll make you a common projectiles engineer's blueprint. And this is really where you're going to be using your engineer's workbench a lot, is with your tools and weapons in immersive engineering. Now, keep this in mind. You can put your blueprint in here and design your bullets, or put your revolver in here, and you can actually upgrade or downgrade it as you desire. Now, before I get into making the bullets, let's actually, let's do the bullets first, and then we'll get into upgrading the revolver. So right now, let's put the blueprint in here. Now there are other blueprints you can obtain as well, but you'll have to find those in random loot chests, like specialized projectiles and the like. Now in this case, it actually will render what you have in the bench on top. So if I put the revolver in here, you'll see that the revolver is on the bench and you're currently working on it. I think that's a really nice touch that was added. But you have your different bullet types here. You've got castle cartridges, you've got armor-piercing cartridges, silver cartridges, buckshot cartridges, and high explosive cartridges. Each one has different pluses and minuses about them. And your primary ingredients for those is going to be gunpowder, empty casings, which the recipe for which is 5 copper ingots will get you 5 empty casings. Now, you might think, well, wow, that's really expensive, but they're reusable. So it's not that bad. But the ammunition is where it gets a bit expensive. Each shot might cost you lead ingots or silver, steel, constantan, all these nuggets. It might cost you 1 or more of each. Iron grit, TNT, depending upon what you want to use. It can be quite extensive. So let's start off with your basic one, your castle cartridge here. Empty casing, gunpowder, and lead ingots, or lead nuggets. So let's grab some gunpowder, some empty casings, and some lead nuggets. And we'll put this in I'm just going to shift click it into the grid. You can actually place it in here if you want. And it tells you that you can actually make these. And if I remove one of them, it then goes back to telling you. So you need 2 lead nuggets just to make one of those sets. So let's put these in here. You can see it's basically, whoops, there we go. 1, 2 lead nuggets. I know it doesn't say 2. It's a little rendering issue there. And let's put this here. So you can see it's just 1, 1, and 2, and you'll get a Castle cartridge. And you can grab it out, and you know there's no more left in there. It's just a little artifact left from the rendering in there. But you get a single one from that. So it can be quite expensive to use this, but don't get me wrong. This is a relatively powerful ranged weapon. It fires at a really rapid rate. That's pretty much all there is 16 there. And it does a decent amount of damage. Now, let me get my revolver again, and I will shift right-click, and it opens this user interface here so that you can load it. Now, you could put these in individually, or you could drag them around like you do in a crafting grid. But personally, I find it best to just shift-click, shift left-click, and they all go in. And when they're all empty after you fired them, you just double-click, and you can take them back out to reload quickly. And that is one method of doing it. So in this case, shift left-click, and then I'm going to shoot at this target dummy. And you can see it made a loud noise, and I do 5 points of damage, which isn't too bad. That's about the high end of a bow. And it actually has a little bit of a delay, 7.5. You know, it all depends on where you shoot this dummy right now. But you can see basically I'm getting pretty good shots, and oh, I'm out. You know, and if I want, I can then just shift-click, take these out, put those back in, and I'm reloaded. You know, and I can hold up my shield if I want while I'm doing this. So it's pretty darn useful. You can do a really good amount of damage with these. And keep in mind that you're probably going to be killing most critters with 1 to 2 hits. And that's, you know, mobs, that is. So let's take this out. And there are some drawbacks. I mean, obviously you saw that you only get 8 shots before you have to reload, which in the middle of combat can be challenging. That can be remedied in a moment here, but let's continue on with the different ammunition types. Now in here you'll see we've got your armor-piercing cartridge. Now this is going to do slightly less damage, but it will also pierce armor, so therefore it's potentially going to do a lot more damage to armored targets. And that's empty casing, gunpowder, 2 steel nuggets, and 2 constantan nuggets, which of course constantan consists of 2 other materials. So then you've got your silver cartridge, which is empty casing, gunpowder, lead nugget, and silver nuggets. Now this here boasts the ability to kill undead better. Now that's a generic term. If you attack a zombie with silver cartridges, it'll do the same as a castle cartridge. Now if you attack a skeleton with a silver cartridge, it will do considerably more than a castle cartridge would. So it's subjective as to what is considered undead and what is not. Obviously, a zombie in this case is not quite there for a silver cartridge. But it also, in previous versions, worked on characters that would turn into werewolves or the like. It would do bonus damage on those as well. So it would have extra benefits in those cases. Now you've of course got buckshots, which is empty shell, gunpowder, and iron grit. And empty shells are a little bit different. I'll show you those in a moment. And then you've got high explosive cartridges, which basically shoots something similar to TNT that shouldn't really destroy the environment too much. Now I've got a bunch of these already. We'll grab a little bit of each one just so that we've got something to go with here. And we're going to grab one of these revolver speed loaders. Now, a revolver speed loader is just like a revolver, but it doesn't add on to it. You just keep it in your inventory. You then shift right-click and you open it just like your gun. So it's basically another drum to your weapon, and then you can always put extras in there. So if I run out, I will automatically start loading these. Now, if I don't have something that you should know about the revolver, let's say that you only have 6 cartridges like I have here. If I shift-click them and you notice it starts here and then loads them clockwise. Now if I put them, let's say down here, and then space them out like this, it's going to make a difference because you're going to have 2 blank shots, then 3 shots, blank shot, 2 shots, and so on. So if I start shooting, you see I've got 2 blank shots, the next one will be a shot, and so on. And then another blank shot, and then... So it's something you're going to want to keep in mind is that it starts here, and works clockwise around if you are trying to, make this work properly. So let's put one castle cartridge in our revolver speed loader, and you'll see that the silver cartridges, which, there we go, is getting a bit dark. Let's get a little closer, and the silver cartridges we'll put in here, and we've got one extra, so it should give me a blank shot before we get there. Oh, and I see a bad guy way over there. See if I can actually hit him. Oh, I think he's just out of range, so it's not quite like an infinite range or anything like that, but I see a skeleton over there. Let's see if I can hit him. Oh, still just out of range. We're going to get a little closer still. Try shooting this guy. Alright, I'm going to fly over there. You see that you basically, it's not a rifle. You don't have unlimited range. There you go. I finally hit him. He died. It was relatively simple. But, this is the silver cartridge. And then you shoot a few more times. Oh, and then it's empty. And you heard that click. That is the revolver speed loader. Reloading, and you got your one shot, and then I'm back to, no ammunition. So it automatically will reload if you have revolver speed loaders filled in your inventory, and it automatically will dispense any empty casings into your inventory. So what else do we have? The armor piercing, as you've seen before, will just shoot normal shots, just like maybe as much damage as a castle cartridge, but it also will do a bit more damage to armored targets. Now, a buckshot cartridge. I mentioned this before. It's a bit different. For instance, you see how far away this target is. And I got lucky, and one of the shots hit him. It goes about 2/3 of the range, maybe only half, but you're basically shooting a shotgun. When you get closer, you do a lot more damage, and, it does considerably more. Now, you see that the damage on there, it said 1. That's very misleading. If I bring in a friend here, let's bring in a spider so that he doesn't burn in the daytime. And you see here, I can just hit him and do about, 3 or 4 hits of damage with a iron sword. Now, let's drop him down again. Shoot him with the shotgun at a range. And you see I barely caught him with one of those pellets there, and he took some damage. Now if I'm close up, it's a lot more powerful because you're going to be hitting him with more of the of the weapon. So it's a really good close range murdering weapon or bullet type in this aspect. Now if you continue on with that, we have one more type in your common set, and that is the high explosive cartridges. These are a little more, I'll say, unique in the fact that you can still hit multiple enemies with explosions. It's not going to be tremendously powerful. As you can see, it's taking a few hits, but it still will hit an area and can be a bit of fun. So there you go. I just ran out. But that's pretty much it for the common style. We're going to get rid of these and those and that extra stuff there. We'll keep our friend the spider here for testing purposes, and our revolver speed loader. Now, often at this point, you're probably going to want to upgrade your gun as best as you can so that it's going to be more effective, so that you can go looking in chests in the nether or dungeons or things like that to get the more specialized projectile blueprints or other loot. Well, in order to do that, you will probably want to upgrade it with one of 3 different things. Now, you'll notice it only has 2 slots here and a shader area. I'll get into shaders shortly. But for the moment, we're going to focus on these 3 accessories. Just ignore the crude blast furnace sign there. There we go. We've got here the, the extended magazine, amplified electron tubes, and the bayonet. Now, each one has a totally different effect on this. The bayonet, while made simply from an iron sword, 2 steel ingots, and treated wood planks, and the fact that it states in the book that it's very similar to a iron sword is very misleading. It's actually much better than an iron sword. But if you notice, visibly, you can now see it on the gun. It shows up, which is really cool. You can actually see it there on the model. Now let's add in something else. Extended magazine. I'm tired of carrying around a bunch of revolver speed loaders. Let's put in more ammo capacity, and we'll get rid of this extra stuff here. We're going to grab a bunch of silver and castle cartridges, and then we'll be good to go. Now, Actually, here, let me put this back on here so you can see the extended cartridge. You're like, well, where is it? It's actually sticking through the table. So it's on the other side of the gun. It's there. You just have to, have a little bit of faith that you can actually see it. Let's see if I can actually get it zoomed in. Whoa, I got too many things nearby. There you go. You can see the cartridge sticking out there. And of course, you can see it on your inventory. And there's a bunch of empty cartridges in it currently. Reason being is I never took the ones out of the old one. So let's get rid of those, put a bunch of these in there, and you can see it starts going across here. And it kind of goes in a really weird fashion. The last bullet's going to be over here. So it's still going to have, going to go up here, down and around. It's really weird. But anyway, just you can shoot to your heart's content. And I mean, I'm rapid fire clicking this as much as I can right now. And eventually it will run out. Now, if my revolver speed loader actually had bullets in it, it wouldn't work. It does not work with the extended magazine, which is currently right here. You can see here, this just allows you a longer amount. Now, you'll still have to do the manual style load and reload like I showed before with this method, but you will get 6 more shots in it. So it's potentially less reloads, but then again, you're not going to have the practical amount of however many revolver speed loaders you have. You can then reload instantly just by constantly shooting. So let's go into one of the other abilities that this weapon can have. Let's take off that magazine. Let's put on here amplifier electron tubes, and let's get a bunch of castle cartridges here. And we're going to just, equip those on the gun. Oops, I didn't grab the gun. Let me grab that real quick. And, oh, you know what? Let's have a quick peek. You can see it actually has these little electrodes on the side of the gun. What it does is it supposedly adds an electrifying or shocking ability to the weapon. And let's put some in here too. So that when you hit a target, it actually grants a slowing effect. And you can see here it says slowness. Now I've hit this target dummy with tons of stuff already, so don't worry about that. Let's see if I can actually get another one. Here we go. I've got another one here. I'll put him down. He doesn't have any effects on him, but if I shoot him with the gun, you see he now gets a slowness potion effect. So any enemies that you hit with this, if they survive, they get a potion effect of slowness for maybe a second or so. So they're not going to be all up in your face real quick. But don't worry, you currently have your bayonet effect. Now you see here I've got an iron sword, which benefit is you can attack multiple foes in an arc. You might be able to hit 2 of them. You might be able to hit just 1. It all depends on how you arc it. But you see about 3 is pretty much what I'm getting here for an iron sword. And you see how long it takes, like 1.5 seconds or something like that to reload. Now the revolver, if you use the bayonet, you do 3.5, and I can use it much more frequently. You can see how fast that is. So it's worth it just for the fact that it's a better than iron sword weapon, at least as far as attacking. But it will only attack a single target, whereas once again the regular sword still has that arcing swipe. And you need to get out of here. Thank you. Alright, so we've upgraded our gun. We've gone hunting and we've found a few other items, namely shaders. There are tons of shaders to choose from right now, and typically you will find common, uncommon, rare, and epic shader bags. Now let's say I grab one of these. It is actually a loot bag. So you just right click it, it opens up, and you get a random shader in there. Now if you take these into an inventory grid, you might be able to convert them back into a shader grab bag and try and get something different. So that can be really nice if you don't like the colors that you have. Let's just go with the one that I just picked for this moment, and we'll see about changing what the gun looks like. And you can see now that the gun looks considerably different. It's just got a different color composite on there, and you can you've got a ton of different ones on here. Let's do a sponsor here, and we'll switch this out. And see, it can get some really cool, highlights on there, and it will actually display on your character as well. So you can see I now have a red and white, red and silver themed gun. So you can actually color this to match how you would like with your different shaders. And of course, the different ones you get might have different styles in them. You know, you get the epic ones, you might get one of the epic styles or colors and so on. They're really, really cool, and these shaders will apply to different tools and weapons in Immersive Engineering as well. For now, I'm just going to keep it as it is, and we'll move on to the specialized projectiles. Now these ones, some of them are damaging, some of them are just useful, some of them you might not even want at all. So let me grab this here and show you what we've got. The specialized projectiles. We have the Dragon's Breath cartridge. So this is sort of like instead of a shotgun, it's a sawed-off shotgun. And it adds a flame effect to it. It, of course, takes empty shell gunpowder and 2 aluminum grit, which is aluminum smashed with a hammer. File cartridges are very unique and can be customized quite a bit. These here, you could actually have potion effects in your file cartridges, which is made with an empty casing, gunpowder, and a glass bottle. I'll show you how to use those shortly. And then we've got the more practical. The flare cartridge, and the flare cartridge. We've got red, green, yellow. These are just really pretty. They shoot like kind of a particle effect into the air that slowly falls down to the earth. So if somebody's looking for you at a distance, you could launch one of these into the air, and it's really cool. And they're all just, empty shell, gunpowder, aluminum grit, and one of 3 different colors, either cactus green, dandelion yellow, or rose red. So let's grab some of the ingredients on these, and we'll get some empty casings. I'm not going to make the file cartridge so much, but I will grab some of this stuff here. So let's see. The file cartridge, for instance, empty casing. Let's put these in here. And then it takes gunpowder, which I left that in here. There we go, gunpowder. Put that inside. And it also takes glass bottles. Well, let's put those in. And you can see I have 32 file cartridges. Now let me grab half a stack of those. And I will grab all these out, get rid of those. We don't even want those. And we'll put the file cartridges in. And what happens when I shoot? That is pathetic. But it does shoot, 0.75, 0.5. That is terrible. Why is it so bad? Because you're shooting empty shots right now. You're lucky that anything is going. You're shooting basically an empty bottle at somebody. What you're going to want to do is combine it in a regular crafting grid with different things. We've got, let's grab all these here, and this should be a little bit more interesting at this point. So if you take a file cartridge and a potion of whatever you want, let's say fire resistance in this case, we'll put it in here, and look, I've got a file cartridge of fire resistance. Now I could actually shoot a fire resistance potion at a target, and therefore it gets a potion effect upon hit. Now it still does damage, but it will also deliver that. Now there are differences. For instance, let me open this, get rid of these, and we will put in here a regular file cartridge with poison 2, a splash file cartridge, and a lingering file cartridge. And you'll see that the first one was, let's see, regular, splash, and lingering. So regular, you have to get a direct hit in order for it to actually affect the target. So I think, let's see here. Yeah, slowness. So this one doesn't have any poison on it yet. Now if I aim to the side, you see that there was a little splash effect, and it still doesn't have the poison effect because you have to have hit the target directly. Now the next one's going to be a splash effect. So you saw it hit in the same exact spot. But now it has poison on it, which, in case you haven't been watching, it's in the top left there. So therefore the splash potions still work like splash potions. The regular drinking potions, you have to hit the target, but you can still deliver it to a target, which is really good. And then the third one is actually going to be the lingering potion, which hovers in an area. So therefore, if the target is in that area, it will be affected by it, which can be really, really cool. And you can switch it out as you need to. You can add in a whole bunch of different abilities that you shoot your target with, weakness and slowness and poison and stuff. So you could load up your gun with a whole bunch of weakening effects, and then close in with a with it, and then just start like stabbing it as you want, and pretty much take down some pretty good targets there, or other players as you see fit. Now that's just the file cartridge. Let's go into some of the other stuff like the Dragon's Breath. which if you look in here, it is empty shell gunpowder and just aluminum grit, which aluminum isn't exactly that common in immersive engineering. I would say it's uncommon to rare. Not as rare as some other materials, but it can be difficult to find. Now, if I load this in here, get rid of these here, put in the Dragon's Breath cartridges, you'll see that it shoots a wonderful spread of fiery death. Now, if I'm far enough away, it's not even going to hit the target because its range is only about like 8 blocks or so. But if you're close enough, it can really do some damage. Now, you'll see it, of course, spread out and hit an area, did 1.5. It's like, all right, well, that doesn't seem like much. But you see the DPS, 27.95. There's a big difference. When you get into fiery effects in immersive engineering, it typically does a lot more damage than it might appear to be. For instance, let's grab our little spidery friends here, and let's give them a taste. And there you go. First one in the middle died. The other two were set on fire, reduced to half a heart, reduced to about half health. And it's very effective, just like the shotgun effect of the other one that we were using before. But it adds in that fiery effect and does some bonus damage to boot. So it's a really strong one for semi-close ranged combat. So that leaves a few other options here. Let's get rid of these here. And we've still got, there we go, flare cartridges. Now these are actually more fun than anything else. So let's add one of these here, a couple green, a red, and another red, and some yellow. There we go. And what this does is wherever you shoot it, now in this case I'm going to shoot up, it will launch a flare into the sky, and I'm flying up to it right now so you can see. And it's a little particle effect that slowly falls down and basically will display kind of a location. So if you're trying to get people's attention, you can, kind of make your own firework display in a way, until you get that set up. And there you go. You've got these little effects dropping from the sky. So pretty neat stuff, I have to say. And that pretty much does it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I look forward to doing another one of these on Immersive Engineering. So, I'll see you later.